Hello, ladies and gentlemen in YouTube land, in the YouTube modeling community. It's a lazy-eyed modeler here. Just doing a real quick, I guess we'll call it toss a sprue. And I'm going to try to be quick. As those who follow my channel know, I never am, but I'll try. First things up is basically just a shout out, kudos to everybody getting involved in the various community builds. The Chevy Cheeseburger Extreme build, there's some really excellent work being done there with opening doors, tilt front ends. Great work, guys. All kinds of great work going on in the Extreme build. Everybody's taking the Extreme seriously, and it's really fun to watch you guys. The other one is Dr. Cranky's build. Quite a few people have started on that, and I want to say, there again, a lot of great stuff going on. Check out Styrene Junkie in his 34 Ford. He's cut out the side panels of his hood there. And Ron, that's going to be really cool. I look forward to seeing how that all comes out. And of course, we got Chevy Truck Month coming up with Patrick Hancock, and a lot of guys jumping in on that. So I congratulate you guys for getting involved in that, and it should be interesting to see where all those Chevy trucks, what happens with them. So that's my little shout outs for those. And Papa Dan just proposed one for the fall. If you've seen his video, he's doing a giveaway once they hit 300 subscribers, he and Caleb. And the lucky winners will be getting Caleb's Corner t-shirt. I think that's really cool, guys. That's going to be a great giveaway. And I think everybody that follows your channel will be thrilled to get an autographed t-shirt from Caleb. And oh yes, that started the whole group build thing. Was Papa Dan is proposing a group build for the fall for your favorite sports team. So I'm a little lost because I don't follow sports whatsoever. Maybe a NASCAR would be appropriate, I don't know. But anyway, it sounds like a really cool theme for a build, and I hope people jump on board with that when Papa Dan says they're going ahead with it. So he's letting some of the other group builds work their way through first, so I think that's a great thing. Now the thing that spurred me on to doing this Toss the Sprue today is Revell has made their second quarter announcement. So second quarter, that's the kits that we can expect to see between March and June. So some exciting news there. There's not a ton of stuff, but there's one thing that is really exciting. So I am going to, at least I hope I'm going to post the picture of the second quarter releases that I got off, and I'll say here that I got it off Spotlight Hobbies web board, and somebody else I think got it off Revell's Facebook page. Maybe I don't think it was from Revell's site. I think it was from their Facebook page. Anyway, so this is where this picture is coming from, and here it is right now. Okay, now you can see there's 3 vehicles on there, and there's one floaty thing and one boomy thing. Now my main interest is the vehicles. The Jinx Express is kind of cool. The hot rod, or show rod, hot rod armored car. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people thrilled to see the Porsche 914 that hasn't been out in years, and I think it's come up quite a few times when people have been, asking for re-releases. That Vaux Porsche has been a favorite topic, but the one that excites me the most, and well, we could try to give Dr. Cranky credit because he's having Ford Hot Rods as his theme for the calendar. Well, this is right up this alley. This is a brand new release from Revell, and it's a major retooling. I'm going to ask for pardons from James Duff because I'm kind of trampling over his stash report type of stuff, but I'm just covering this one just because I'm so excited about this release. Now, if you look at the top of the page on the Revell announcement, it's a 29 Ford on 32 rails. 29 Ford Roadster on top of 32 rails, or 29 Ford Roadster on a Z frame. Now, to give us a better idea of what's going on here, I'm going to read something that was posted on Spotlight Hobbies by Tim Boyd. Now, anybody who gets Scale Auto or even model cars, you should know who Tim Boyd is. And I mean, Tim wrote Modeler's column for years in Street Rodder, one of the major car magazines anyway, and I'm not going to think of it right now, and I'm already up to 6 minutes. So what I'm going to read from here on is in Tim Boyd's words, and I'm going to have something here that says, these words are Tim Boyd's until this whole thing is done, because I want this clear that this is not my opinion, this is not my information. This came from Tim Boyd as he posted on Spotlight Hobbies, but it's such good information I want to share it with the YouTube community, and I don't think Tim does anything on the YouTube community, but I want to make it very clear these are his words, and when I'm done the writing will end and I'll do something, but just so you know. Okay, so this is in regards to the second quarter Revell announcement of a 29 Ford Roadster. And Tim says, I've been waiting for this news from Revell to officially break for a long time. I first heard rumblings about a project like this a number of years ago, but never had any official confirmation until I was commissioned by Revell about a year ago to do some minor work on this project, after it had already been designed and tooled. Now, Ed Sexton has given me permission to share my impressions about this upcoming kit with you, after having assembled the first test shots from the tooling vendor. I'll start off by saying that this is a most ambitious project. It's like if you sat down at a table, listed everything you would ever want in a modern/traditional hot rod kits, and then Revell read your mind and developed the kit accordingly. It has about 95% of what would be on my own personal mental wish list, and several surprising things that go beyond even my most ambitious thoughts. Here are some of the elements of the kit that I think you'll find interesting. The engine is the one that has been at the top of the wish list for everyone who builds traditional hot rod models. It's a recreation of the 401 Nailhead V8. Of course, I want to hear what the rest of you say after you have had a chance to build it, but it's certainly a candidate for the best nailhead ever put in a kit. Two versions of the engine are provided, one with 6.2 barrels on a log manifold, the other on a Hillborn style fuel injection. At the time I did the work, get this, the Hillborn setup included a complete fuel block with 8 individual fuel lines routing to each injector. The basic kit builds two ways, as a traditional 29A Roadster Highboy on a 32 Ford frame, and as a channeled 29A Roadster on a Z Model A frame. Separate transmission cross members for each are provided. Both frames and the elements that go with them, suspensions, cross members, exhaust, etc., are all new tools. Nothing is shared with the prior Revell 32 Ford Street Rod series. For instance, the 32 frame is slightly narrowed ahead of the rear suspension via an inward step in the frame rails. Pardon me. Two different traditional tuck and roll interiors are designed to fit the high boy and low boy versions. The wheels and brake drums are highly detailed, with studs on the fin Buick-style brake drums and holes in the wheels for the studs. And the wheels include fine valve stems. Backing plates front and rear are traditional 40 Ford style. The 29A Roadster body includes modified rear quarter panels with the wheel well openings moved up in the body, like the Troy Trepanier light olive green Roadster from about 10 years ago, and several more recent high-vis build projects from others, which then places the tires in the center of the wheel well openings, even with the much lower ride height / modern stance incorporated into the highboy chassis. Speaking of rear fenders, Revell's kit fixes an error that is on every Kit Bash 29A Roadster model built with the old AMT body, including my own. The strengthening ribs on these panels actually protrude outward instead of being recessed as on the AMT body. And speaking of tires, they're all new tools and appear just about perfect for all our traditional hot rod builds. One thing that caught my attention is the heavily engraved floor pans for each chassis. All the strengthening ribs you'd expect to see on a 1:1 scale steel body are there. There are a number of building options engineered into the tool, and I'm not sure if all of them will be included in this release. But when the Revell announcement flyer says loaded with building options, let me assure you they're not kidding. The suspension is very traditional up front with a dropped I-beam, yes, and a split wishbones. The rear suspension design is more contemporary, what you'd see in a newly built traditional rod designed for driving long miles rather than just posing at the local rat rod show. It is a well-executed SoCal style coilover setup with a modern Dana style differential. Very well done with a deeply engraved, separately molded differential pumpkin. Don't worry, there are no molded airbags like the prior 32 Ford series. The ride height for both the high boy and low boy chassis appears spot on. You shouldn't have to be kit bashing on this one to get the ride height you want. Wait till you see the fuel cell and trunk mounted battery case. Keep in mind that these observations were based on first-round test shots, and there have been many refinements to the tool over the ensuing months, as you would expect. As a result, some things may have changed versus what I am reporting here. It should be obvious by now the kit bashing potential of this kit, with its two different chassis, nailhead V8, and the many other options it will include, make it every bit the equivalent of the start of the Revell's 32 Ford Street Rod series of the last 2 decades. I'll provide a bit more background on what I know about this whole endeavor when the kit comes out and you can actually get it in your hands. But as you can imagine, a kit like this does not occur on autopilot. There are many heroes on this project inside Revell, and at least a couple experts from the outside that I'm aware of, whose names you would probably recognize. Bottom line, if you are a traditional hot rod model builder, or even if you've never built a hot rod model before but are interested in a very interesting new model kit, this is one that you are going to want to check out in person on your own modeling desk and then form your own conclusions. Tim. So, to say that I'm excited about this would be an understatement. I mean, I was kind of thinking of doing something like that for the Dr. Cranky calendar build. And now this coming out in second quarter, which means March and perhaps not till June, it probably won't be a candidate for the Dr. Calendar Cranky build. Yeah, that makes sense. The Dr. Cranky calendar build. But nonetheless, it's going to be a must-have around here, and I think this is going to sell really well for Revell. I mean, especially with us old gray-haired types that really like old traditional rods. Unfortunately, for those who like modern vehicles, there isn't much there, but for us, for somebody that likes the pre-war and post-war hot rods and vehicles. It's very exciting. And I really do think Revell will do really well with it, as well as they did with the various 32 street rod kits. So that is exciting. And I just ran out of steam and don't know where I was going with this. Anyway, very exciting. I wanted to share it with you guys here on YouTube. And I see by the time I read all that, we're already past 15 minutes. Okay, I did just remember one thing that I wanted to mention and I forgot, so I'm patching it in here. It'll make the rest of the video a little bumpy, but there you go. Anyway, the one thing I did want to mention, and the one thing that's already getting complaints a little bit about this release, is the fact that they're going with coilover springs on the rear end instead of the traditional buggy springs, which would be more appropriate for pre-war, post-war hot rods, where they were still using the buggy springs. The coilover certainly is much more modern. So if you're wanting to do a real traditional rod, you'd have to come up with some way of doing a buggy spring suspension. And like for the Race of Gentlemen that I mentioned, that would be my inspiration for the Dr. Cranky Calendar build. That would be far more appropriate than the coilover suspension. But be that as it may, it might be an easy fix. I don't know until the kit comes out. But that is one thing I wanted to mention that already has come out in some discussion about this kit, is the rear suspension. But anyway, the rest of it still sounds really cool, and back to the rest of the original video. Bye. For now. Then bye later. I think I'm just going to start palavering, and again, thumbs up to everybody in all the group builds. You're doing great work. I've been trying to watch videos and comment and all that, and some of these, it just, boy, they all go by and I'm trying to catch up, and like everybody else. And the bigger the community gets, sometimes the harder it is, and I think we will all have to keep that in mind as the community keeps growing, that we can't always, not everybody's going to be able to comment on every video type of thing, you know, but anyway, it's great to see such a thriving community. Anyway, we're 16 minutes, so I'm going to cut this short. Thanks, guys. Go check out Revell's Facebook page to see this, and or their website or whatever. And hopefully we get some exciting stuff out of AMT, MPC, Lindbergh, in other words, round 2. Let's see what they come up with for second quarter. Anyway, thanks again. See you again. Take care. Model on. Bye now.